Okay, I'll tell you guys a little secret. In my life, people are starting to sing when they talk to me. It's a real thing that is happening. The people that I communicate with the most now just sing words. They say, I got it. And I say, you're singing. And I'm watching it just happen with the people like my team and my assistant and like the people that are in my life consistently now just all of a sudden sing random words. And I don't know if I should tell them you're welcome or if I should tell them I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you're starting to sing random words because some people find it incredibly annoying that I do that. But you're starting to do it because it's fun and it feels good. It feels good. Hello, good morning. Who's here? Please say hi to me. If you are brand new to me, hi Erica, hi Tina. We're singing, we're singing. Did you guys watch Elf? I love you, I love you, I love you. Yay, I'm so glad you're here live. Look, this is a topic that I don't really ever talk about. I think I had a story before that if I talk about it, it'll scare people, which is absolutely ridiculous because my people are incredible live. Oh, I just finished working out. I'm a little bit sweaty. It's dripping down my neck. If I had a little story that if I talked about this, people would get scared instead of inspired, motivated, or take the action that will get them the powerful results on the other side. And then I just decided that was a little bit silly and I was going to release that story because I happen to know my people are incredibly powerful, wise humans who show up incredibly powerful on this planet, and they are relentlessly, they just keep going. They never stop. So that was a silly story that I'm releasing. Hello, Mark. Hello, Christina. Who else is here? Hi, Christina. Okay. If you're brand new to me, please let me know. I love to come say hi, check out your profile, see who you are. I do as much as I can with all the new people who come in. I really like to know the people in my community. Hi. It feels good to make new friends. So let me know where you're at in the world and say hi. If you're on the replay, let's do #courage. Because believe it or not, this thing that I'm going to talk to you guys about today, it's really just about courage, even though it wouldn't seem like that. And basically, one of the most common things I hear from people, whether they're already really successful and they want to switch what they're doing, or they're beginning out, just starting to let their voice be heard, or they're implementing a new level. So maybe they have 2 or 3, things that they're already teaching, but they want to step into, let's say they want to start teaching relationships now or something like that, and they're adding that to their company. So either one of them is 100% about courage. And basically the fear that I hear or the story that comes from them is, but there's already literally like tens of thousands of people doing that and they're doing it really well. Like, what would set me apart? What's going to make me any different than all of the people already doing it? Right? And I have this voice all the time that comes up for me, like, what is actually going to set me apart from all the people that are already doing this? And what I watch happen, and I want to say this in a really loving way because we all do this, because believe it or not, selling is when you just get really excited about something and then tell someone about it. So, for us women, it's like a chapstick that we got or a new lip gloss and we're like, this is amazing. And you tell all your friends, you're like, you have to get this, it's so good. And then your friend buys it because your friend sees that you love it and they want to do it too. And now that's called a raving fan in a company. So when you have a client who's like, oh my God, she's amazing, you have to go do her stuff, this program's amazing, go do it. And I owe everything to those kind of clients who express that, because that's the only way my company has ever been built. It's 100% organic, 100% organic. Like, it's just word of mouth. It's just people telling other people. So understanding that when we learn something and then we regurgitate it, that's one skill. Right? Like, I read a book, I, learned from this mentor, I did a thing. Now I tell all my clients, don't worry, like, don't hesitate. If you learn something from me, don't hesitate for 1 second. If that landed with you, I've had many coaches who say, you're not allowed to teach anyone else what I teach you. Don't talk about this. And then I was on a webinar the other day about telling your story, and it was this very successful woman, and she was saying, you need to give credit for everything that you say. If it's someone else's, you always need to give credit. And I've actually had a friend of mine, it was the guy that I was dating, who actually mentioned the same thing. He's like, you need to, like, where did you learn that? Who said that? And I completely disagree with all of that. I think it's amazing. So if I happen, like Tony Robbins said, the second you have, you have a breakthrough and you can see, the second you have the courage and the vision, like I see that's what I need to do and I have the courage to do it, you back yourself instantly. Never leave the scene of a breakthrough without taking a committed action that you can't get out of. Tony Robbins said that to me. I'll never forget that, right? So I'm going to tell people that Tony Robbins said that to me. But all of the millions of other things that I learned and the mentors and the downloads and the books and the things that I actually embodied and then I walked out in my own life became mine. And I don't feel the stress or the need to be like, okay, where was this from? And like all that pressure and like if one of my clients was a client of mine and they heard something of mine and it resonated with them and then they walked it out in their own life and then it became theirs, why wouldn't I want them to share that with the world? It healed them. My only intention is to work together to create healing in the world and to create massive amount of abundance and massive amounts of joy and fun, right? Like that's my only intention. So why would it bother me if somebody else shares what they learned from me? But here's the difference. If you want to know the one thing that sets you apart, right? And you can ask my clients, like I really, really back that. I have absolutely no problem. I oftentimes have my mentor's words that were said to me come right out of my mouth, right? And I feel really integrity about how often I share who taught me this or who taught me that. I am so open. I share who my mentors are. I share everything. There's one mentor I don't share because I really feel like nobody should go to that person. And so I don't ever say that person's name unless I'm being really honest about the story that happened. But, I'm just an open book this way because I feel like that's freedom. It's not freedom for me to feel like if I tell you who my mentors are, you're going to go to them and not me because they're better than me. That's why I picked them, right? That's not freedom. It's not freedom for me to feel like I'm not allowed to say what I really feel to say to you because someone else taught me this. That's not freedom. And since I stand for freedom, all of those things are allowed. I just get to do those and I get to just trust and know. There's no dichotomy. I get to be this open. I get to share everything and still have massive success and people that want to learn with me, even though there's tons of people out there who do way better than me and know way more amazing things. They have a different energy. Do you hear what I'm saying? Like, I know that there's people out there that are a million times better at doing the very thing that I do. But maybe they don't share as vulnerably and as open as me. Maybe they haven't seen me crawl out of hell on welfare with 2 babies on my back. Maybe they haven't seen someone talk about, the abuse or the challenges or the whatever, you know what I mean? Maybe they just trust me easier because they're skeptical and they've been through a lot and it's really hard to trust someone that someone really cares about them and isn't just in it for the money. That's what we usually think, right? That's what I thought in the beginning. Whatever, who knows? But a big part of this for me is this is the difference. Just hear me, okay? And I want you to listen with like kindergartner ears, like full-blown kindergarten ears, right? What I want you to hear, like you're hearing it for the first time and then scan your life to see how this applies like you're hearing it for the very first time. This is about you walking out, integrating and implementing the things you've learned before you bring them to the table to teach them or to hold space for them for your people. Now, let's just talk about money, okay? Let's say it's money. So the biggest month I've ever had is an $82,000 month. It was actually an $81,000 day and an $82,000 month. So I don't know which one's cooler. One feels like an admittance and one feels like the most badass thing on the planet, given that 3 years prior to that, the most I had ever made was $23,000 a year, and then I had an $81,000 day, right? So when I'm leading my people, and I'm creating space, I really can only hold space for someone who's either like in my field. So they could be a multimillionaire coming. I've had many clients who are multimillionaires, like 10 times over, who come to me to teach them the simplicity of how to make money online. That feels an integrity with me because that's not about I want to make, $1 million online. That's my instant goal. Their instant goal is to start creating another cash flow, which I can teach them in 4 seconds, right? Like, boom, this is how you make the most money right now as you become the human being. And that's an integrity. But if someone's online and they're already making 80K months and they want to know how to scale to that next level, I'm not their girl. Unless they've already identified what I want to do is now make things really easy and take all the fanciness that I have, break it down and create some faster, easier passive income. Boom, I'm your girl again, right? So I'm just really clear. That one's just pertaining to like making money online, right? Hi, Amy. So, I'm really clear what I can and can't do. And I've always been super upfront about it, right? Like I remember a phase, like now I can teach you how to hire, how to fire, how to run your team, organize your team, the whole back end of your company. As a matter of fact, I do it in the ultimate how-to. I teach you how to organize everything on the back end. I'm giving them all my SOPs, all my legal paperwork, everything that took me 4 years to freaking figure out was the hardest part of my company, was being the leader of my team and managing human beings. I was a terrible manager. I'm still not that great of a manager, but I'm an amazing enough manager that my team, like even this morning I was talking about, like, I noticed how I made it hard for the girl who makes my graphics because I took forever to get back to her. I'm calling myself to more on that, right? So I'm really clear about that. Now that's amazing to have that gift. And if you like, okay, the ultimate how-to, I'm teaching you that too, how to get clear what your gifts are. But the most important thing pertaining to this subject, if you want to know how to stand out online, is you actually knowing what your gifts and truths are. And it's this part. I feel like a lot of people do that. So we study, we learn, we absorb, we learn from our mentors, and then we have the freedom to share and release that knowledge as much as we want to. But this is the shift that I would recommend. The shift I would recommend is to get out of the habit, which it's such an easy habit to get into. So there's no judgment here. We got to release any judgment to like, okay, I noticed that, I'm gonna let it go. When are we taking in and then putting back out? It is so critical that we learn how to be the student, like the world's greatest student, like let our ego go, eat our humble pie. I am an expert in all these areas. I'm used to being the expert, but now I'm gonna suck. If I do this, I'm gonna suck for a second. Oh well, so you're gonna suck for a second. Can you just eat that humble pie and let yourself suck for a second? Because before you know it, you're gonna be the expert in that area too. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna allow ourselves to be fed and be the student, but we're gonna separate that. Like the stuff I'm learning to, like I'm a student in this right now. This is what I'm learning to be a student in. The one I'm being a student in right now is what ego is. I always thought that word was so stupid, but now I'm like, oh, this ego thing is big. Like learning to really, like humility and like I always thought pride, the word pride always, this is a tangent, but the word pride I always thought was gross because how I was taught was basically any kind of self-confidence was pride. Any kind of allowing yourself to receive was pride. Any kind of owning or recognizing your own gifts was pride. So I hated the word pride. But now that I've released all those old crappy stories about what pride is, because none of those were pride, and I actually see what pride is, I'm like, oh, pride's a mother. Right? Like, no, and overcoming that is really incredible. And being able to dance this balance between receiving and massive wealth and expansion and also letting the ego go, letting that pride go, tapping back into humility has been so amazing and incredibly powerful for me. But I'm not, just because I'm learning that, I'm not going to go create a program for you right now on how to release your ego. I bet in a year I will. Just like I wouldn't have created a program like the Ultimate How-To where I teach you all about hiring and team and organization of your company, because a year ago, I literally would say to your face, I can teach you this, and this, but just don't ask me about the team thing. That is my biggest struggle. And I was always open and honest about that, right? So what we're gonna look for is what are the ways that I'm learning something right now, and because I'm excited about it and focused on it, I'm creating content or I'm speaking about it like I'm the expert in it, or I'm speaking about it like I can hold space for it, but really I should be being the student in this. Now, listen to me for 1 second. When you can learn to do that, which for me was ego. For me, it was just like, oh, I just told a story that I should be able to do that. And the times I accidentally slipped into that was just my ego. Like, you should be different than where you are. You should be better off. You should know how to do this. You should be able to support them with this. And we feel like that's loving, but it's not, it's ego. It's just us being like, I'm going to pretend I'm better than I am before I am. That's not loving or serving. It's not for other people, right? So we can just dismiss that and be like, here's the areas that I'm really showing up and being the student. Right? Like I would love to know right now how you're, yes, edging God out. I love that, Kristen. I've heard that before, but I haven't heard it for a long time. That ego is edging God out. Oh my God, that just hit me in like 76 million different ways. Thank you for sharing that. Boom. Okay. So when we're the student, it's like, what are you the student of right now? Just what if you were just allowed to be like, this is what I'm the student of? And imagine, just for a second, if we were open to the possibility that just because you're the student in those things doesn't actually have anything to do with anything, it's getting clear on this and owning it and saying it out loud and letting it be real is only going to serve you with having massive success. The whole reason I created the Ultimate How-To was because I see the messiness and the back end messiness of the company for sure. I see people wasting so much time studying and learning and just absorbing all of this stuff because other people are putting it in their face, not because it's the thing that's going to move the dial for them. But most importantly, and that's like the just, I added that on because I can now, and that feels really good to serve my people with that, because I've studied with like these literally I know how to go from here where I am to being a billionaire now. I'm not the human being who can create that just yet, but I actually can see the vision. I've now studied with the people that like, oh, that's how they become billionaires. Like, okay, I get it now. Or at least it's one of the ways, or one of the couple ways, because I know a couple different ways now that you could become a billionaire, right? So that's just a vision that I have. So this is about us. So I just added that on the back as like extra value that people are getting. So if that's why they joined, that's amazing, because it's going to be incredible. But my biggest intention was for this group was this beginning chunk where I'm helping people get really freaking clear. This is what I'm the student of, and I just get to be. I just get to be the student of this. And this is my real gifts. Right now, currently, I'm always going to have the things I'm the student of. If we're in the habit of being like, I need to know all of these things now, I need to already make this much money, I need to already look this way, I need to already have a voice like this, I need to already have this result, I need to already have a team like this, I need to already be able to invest at this level, I need to already blah, 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 blah. That's just a habit that'll never go away. You think once you reach those that all of a sudden that habit will go away and you'll be like, okay, now I've arrived. No, you'll just latch on to the next level and the next level, and you'll live forever trying to be something you're not, and something about that will show. People will sense that. They won't even know what they're sensing, but they're gonna feel something is off with you. Just like something doesn't feel right here, right? Like something's really off. I don't know, I don't completely trust this. And then you're gonna struggle to get people to join and sign up and get clients, and it's just gonna feel off. And sometimes you're gonna do that like entirely. And sometimes you'll just do it with one offer or with one sort of particular client or something like that, right? But it needs to get cleaned up. So my whole intention was for you to really get crystal clear. What is your value? What is your gifts? What do you stand for? People are like, I don't really know how to figure this out. I don't know my deepest message. I don't know what my like biggest truth is. And here's what I'm telling you. We're walking through that. We're like literally today, I'm teaching people tonight in the ultimate how-to, which is mandyperry.com how-to, sorry. Lately, I keep forgetting to drop the link. I don't know why. I guess everything just got different because I'm not traveling anymore, and like it's a new schedule and little things fell off. So sorry, okay, there's the ultimate how-to link. The doors closed this week for that. So, okay. So this is about you getting really clear what your deepest message is, what your gifts are, like what is naturally just you. And it's about letting go of you needing to be anywhere else. So my biggest strength is teaching you how to make money along the way in integrity, being exactly who you are and exactly where you are without you needing to be any different as you become everything that you envision yourself becoming. So it's like a 1, 2, 3 punch really, right? It's letting go of the ego, if you're like me and that word triggers you, it doesn't anymore, but it's letting go of the fear screaming in our head that we need to be better than we are in order to be safe. That who we are right now is not enough. Where we're at right now is not enough. The results we've gotten is not enough. It's recognizing that that's a screaming voice that has absolutely no relevance to anything. It's not true. It's complete bullshit. As a matter of fact, I'm telling you, every client I've ever watched who has learned to release that and actually step into their true message, their truth, their true embodiment, and the people that have the courage to be that authentic get way more powerful results than the people who are trying to absorb as fast as they can so they can be somewhere they're not. And then they're basically just kind of regurgitating, and they're always on this, like, it's like, I'm just trying to keep myself treading water. And then march in the pressure of like, okay, now I gotta hit the numbers. It's like, and then now you're gonna add investing high level because they know that's smart. It is smart, right? You want someone to pay you $3,000 a month? Jump in the Diamond Mastermind and pay $3,000 a month for the one-on-one coaching. You're not gonna get someone to invest. You're not gonna get your clients to do something you're not willing to do for yourself. If you're not engaging, your clients aren't gonna be engaging. If you're not investing, your clients aren't gonna invest. If on an enrollment call, you tell someone else, oh, I'm gonna wait and see, what happens, and then, I'm gonna figure this out, or I'm gonna do this first. Then when your clients are on calls, they're gonna say, oh, I'm gonna wait to see what happens. It's like, this is just what happens. You draw into you who you are, whether you like it or not, you will draw into you who you are. So now let's say that you're releasing The story that you're not allowed to be the world's greatest student, and that you kind of have to hide some of these things a little bit on the back end. You're not really lying about it, but you're just not really being fully upfront about it, or like you're not giving yourself permission just to be like, that's what it is. That's what it is. When you do that, this really incredible thing happens. All of a sudden, you can remember when people are doing that, they're taking for granted the wisdom that they actually have. Like the actual powerful wisdom that they have right now. Oh, we're grateful for you too, Denise. We take for granted the wisdom that we currently have, and that us 5 years ago, oh my God, could she have even imagined? Could he have even imagined all the things you understand and know, and you've walked yourself through, the things you went through and seasoned and strengthened and grew? Imagine 10 years ago. And you know, in that area of life, there are people that are 10 years behind you in that particular area of life. They don't know, they don't understand, they're not believing in themselves or self-love or boundaries or whatever it is. They haven't actually done that in their life yet. And they need you with the way that you talk, right? The singing your words, the whatever you do, the telling the raw, open truth, the just giving the numbers, the whatever the stuff is that you do that is just authentically you, that up until now, you've been feeling like that's not enough. Up until now, it's like, that's not enough. It's not enough. I need to be. It's like, it's so sneaky because you don't even really realize you're doing it, right? It's like, it just sneaks in. It sneaks in this story of like, whatever area I feel like I'm frustrated about, I want to learn as fast as I can or do as fast as I can in order to already be at that place. And when you're doing that, you win the award for leaving the most amount of money on the table. That is all income, and abundance is not just that. I mean, that's amazing, right? Just knowing that like you're not making tons and tons of money because of that right there. That's one of the things holding you back massively from making money, from scaling so rapidly, right? But not just that, it's also the thing stopping you from leaving that real deep, powerful impact that you want in the world. And it's the thing stopping you from seasoning your true voice to be like, I have a powerful voice around this particular thing right here. Because you are never allowing yourself to be saturated in the thing that you're really good at, in the voice that you have, in the way that you do it, in the story that you have about your life, and all these pieces and parts. And then, right, this is why I actually added to the ultimate how-to. So after we do that work right there, then it's like, okay, now how do I actually design a whole company around that? So that now the machine, this money machine that I'm making, the service machine, this how I hold space for people, is all based on actual truth and authenticity and actually what is, and I never have to be any different. So that pressure that I used to have, gone. That like anxiety of like, okay, what am I gonna say? It's like, the program that I created is just based off what I could just riff off. You could come to me at any given moment in time and I can just start riffing off of this because it's real for me. It's integrated, I've walked it out. It's my wisdom that I currently have. And now when I hear people talking about that same wisdom, what's happening is I'm getting nuggets on how do I translate what I already know, what I've already walked through. So now when you hear some things coming out your mouth, it's just a skill of teaching. You're not learning it and then regurgitating it while you're also implementing it, which is incredibly difficult. So if you find an area of life where you've been doing that, no problem. Welcome to being human. #human. Every single one of us has done it. So don't be the one person who says, no, I don't do that anywhere. BS, you do, right? We do. That's what we do. So we get to notice where we're doing it. And then if this is resonating with you, if you feel like something's off, that's what it felt like to me. Like, not felt like, it's what it feels like to me when I accidentally slip into this kind of space in an area of my life. It feels like something's off. This just isn't working. It feels like I'm frantically searching and like trying to learn something, like, and I feel like I'm trying and trying, like maybe like I'm throwing stuff against the wall. I'm just like, I'm trying this, and maybe this will work. And I feel like there's lack of flow and organization. Like, okay, now how does this all go together? That's what it feels like when you haven't shifted and done this kind of work. So my intention is for people to be able to clean this up as a foundation, whether they're scaling to that next level, opening up a new avenue, or just beginning. It doesn't, I mean, my God, if you can do this in the beginning, that's incredible, right? But this is, you know, I literally learned to do this work after hitting 1.4 million. So there's never a wrong time to do this work, right? So it's that foundation of where you're coming from and then everything's built on. So what it felt for me after 3 years of my company, and when I fell on my face, it really felt like I felt trapped. You know what I mean? Like, even though if I'm being really honest, this might not make sense to you. It was only like, I literally could work 3 days a week. And then I could take Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off, which I did for a long time, but I was bored and I felt like I was trapped. Like the machine was already going. And if I took one piece out, it would all fall apart and I didn't know what to do. And it was really overwhelming and frustrating. And I felt so much pressure and I felt frustrated and I felt like I was so scared it was all going to fall apart. It's like our worst nightmares to build the success and then it all falls apart, right? Like 35 years of being like a poor welfare human being, like being in the, like living in extreme poverty for 35 years. Of course that voice can be really loud that like, it's like one mistake and you're going to fall all the way back here. It's all going to fall apart, right? So that voice can be really loud. And it was a really like a time of me just feeling the pressure and the voices and seeing what was in front of me and really having no clue how to navigate that. And all the work I did over the last 6 months brought me to this place with this really clear understanding of a lot of what ego is, of, what it means to have humility, to release the pressure, even the pressure of like, well, because you went from welfare girl with 0 business experience to 500K that first year, you have to do it again and again. And like, because I did it 3 times in a row, you definitely have to keep doing it. Like you can't do it 3 times and then not do it the 4th time, right? And it was like releasing that story and really allowing it to be based off of me. And people told me to do that, but they didn't tell me how. Okay, but how do I do that? And that's what I'm sharing with you here, right? So just to circle back to make sure that we're feeling this, the way to really stand out online, even if there's hundreds of thousands of other people, even if there were hundreds of thousands of other people doing the very thing that you want to do and they do it better than you, the thing that's going to set you apart is your courage to be authentic about what is actually like, where am I the student and where am I the expert? And then have have the courage to tell the truth about what you are the expert in without being like, people are going to think who she is. Like, no. I'm owning what I am the expert in, like what I have already walked myself through. What am I already grateful for in my life? What do I already have? What value do I have to give? Like, how could I, if I had all the money in the world and I had just tens of thousands of dollars coming in every single month for the rest of my life or every single year for the rest of my life, then what would I be showing up and saying? What would I bring to the table? It's like coming from this kind of energy, right? And then if that's what I was bringing to the table, if I had that clarity and that's what I was doing, like this begins to start unlocking things, right? Like when you show up in your life every single day, and that's why I'm so excited about this program. And we decided to extend it a few days, because when you can come from this level of clarity, when you give yourself this level of freedom and just unlocking this for yourself, what happens is you begin to slip out of the, I have to do it or something bad's going to happen, which is simply just surviving. That's survival mode. That's based off of trauma and everything that you've been through. It's a normal, reaction in the human nervous system. And you start to shift into, how can I create value? How can I give today? And if you think, let me ask you one question. If you showed up every day for the rest of your life, truly coming from this, no matter what, no matter if the bills were crazy, if the pressure was on, if like it was a month of insanity, or it was like easy flow and this month my PayPal's just like ding, 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 like my phone's on fire, right? So it doesn't matter. Whichever place you happen to be in, if you for the rest of your life, every day woke up and just actually came from the place of, cool, based on where I am, I know my voice, I know my gifts, I know the containers that I hold, I know my space, I know what I stand for, I know what I'm here on this planet for, and I know my power moves to bring that to the world. I know how to create avenues to make money based off of that, which is literally the exact process I'm taking you through and how to. If you came from that place, like, okay, now how can I just give? How can I just give extraordinary amount today? Like, how can I serve? How can I serve the people listening? I don't care if it's only 10 people listen. How can I absolutely serve the shit out of those 10 people? How can I show up and serve today? And you came from that place every day of your life. You telling me that there's even a 1 iota chance that you wouldn't have massive, powerful success? Like I was just saying to one of my clients earlier, we have this story, like let's say in my membership area, out of control value I'm giving in there. I'm literally doing a Zoom every single morning at 8 a.m. plus all the other things that they're getting in this program. Plus they get Q&A, plus people will get a chance to watch me coach and be coached one-on-one, $97 a month. That's mandyperry.com/elite if you didn't know. Get your butt in there. This is the foundational price. I mean, it's the opposite. We think like, if I give this much value in the membership, why would they join my other programs? It's the exact opposite. when they see because they don't know me, they don't know my story, they don't know my heart, but when they do, when they see who I really am and like, whoa, this girl's legit. She really tells us everything. She literally gives us everything she has to give. They want more of me. They want to scale with me. They love my voice, my story, the way I show up, whatever it is. They can hear my voice well, or they don't and they leave. But if they do, if they leave, it's not because I gave too much value. That's for sure. It's just they didn't resonate with me. I wasn't their home base. They were someone else, right? But the more value I give, the more people feel safe and the more that they trust and the more that there's this, I forget the word, but there's this thing that happens when like you give to someone, they feel this like, I want to give back. And so in our field, that looks like they join, they move forward, they join the Diamond Mastermind, they, book a year long, whatever they do. We don't have to worry about if I'm giving everything I have to give. Now, this isn't giving advice and how-tos, right? How-to could be stuff you're giving on the side, right? Like in Ultimate How-To, obviously I give all the tech stuff, but I'm talking about like, giving them how to navigate the current way that they feel, etc. That's not value. Because people are going to go try to do what you told them to do, and they're going to do it for a couple days, they're going to fail, and then they're going to associate you with that failure subconsciously. They don't even know they're doing it, but they do it. That's not what we want to do. What we want to do is wake them up to, hey, like what I'm doing right here, like, hey, that thing you're doing where you're like frantically learning all of this stuff and then you're learning and you're kind of regurgitating and you're spitting it out and you're feeling like I'm just a little bit trying to push myself to that next level so I can call in the next level of person, or I can like seem more legit, or I'm evidencing who I want to be rather than who I am, whatever that kind of messiness is. In that, you don't know your own voice, you don't know what you really stand for, you don't know my deep values, my deepest message, like who I really am. Lock those in and then create containers based off of those right now, so you're pouring in the money while you're being the world's greatest student and launching to that next level. Then on top of that, you're going to want to create that around your whole business, or else it's going to feel like a trap. It's going to feel like I'm stuck in this cog. And like I have to show up all the time now just to hit the numbers while I'm investing, and I want to grow, but then I'd have to show up harder, and then I'd have to work even harder. And it's this trap people find themselves stuck in, and it's scary when you're stuck there. It does not feel good. Right? So what I'm doing is waking my people up to like, hey, if that's the pain you're experiencing, because that's what I went through myself and I know what that feels like, then this is why, and this is what the real work is, and hey, that's what we're doing over here in the Ultimate How-To. Right? So I'm giving massive value. If you don't join the Ultimate How-To, you still can see that now. I know that I did my job. I showed up. I did a free Facebook Live that anybody could join on. They could tag their friends. They could share the video. They could give the value to everybody else. If anyone, if you do that, thank you. And I knew that I showed up and I just loved my people. I called them to this. I called them to more. And then I just said, hey, also, if this is really resonating with you and you feel like that's what I want to lock into, and then I want to design my whole company based on that. I want those legs, that foundation. I want to feel that ease and that flow, and like when I'm teaching, it's just naturally me, and that organization and the company organization, and really understanding how to pick which design of company out of all these people doing it a different way, how to know that one's for me right there. And I know it'll never change because it's based off of the real me, right? So like if any of that resonated, hey, that's what we're doing in the program over here, mandyperry.com/how-to. Right? But I didn't tell you to go do anything that you could then go fail at. So when I say give value, I do mean give massive amounts of value. So, in the membership area, like this morning, all I did was tell them the truth. Like, I'm cleaning up my own mess. I'm walking through something very difficult. I'm feeling all the pressure this morning. So what I needed to feel this morning was confidence. And this is how I do that. I woke up and I was just feeling a lack of confidence. I just felt like you might fail at doing this. Like, you might fail, Mandy. And then I was like, oh, I feel wholly unavailable for that feeling. I don't like that feeling. That feels like crap. So I taught them the truth of how I get back into my confidence, because it's one thing to know that you need to feel confident, but it's a whole other thing to be able to actually feel confident, right? So I taught them what I really do. So you really can just continue to give massive amounts of value and know that it'll always just work out without giving advice and how-tos, right? I'm just throwing that in there as a side note. So that is how, does that make sense to you guys? Do you feel like you understand? Like, that's how I stand out. Because there's only one you. And I know this sounds cliche, but I'm being so real. There's only one you. Erica, Elite is awesome. Yeah, mandyperry.com/elite. Let me drop that in the links for you. Honestly, I mean, I really think that if you're not in there, you should be. If you like my voice, my energy, that's just a home base, $97 a month. If it's not worth $97 a month, then you need to reach out to me, because it is what it is. The value in there for $97 a month is the most I've ever given, and I'm so excited to do that for you. And it feels like an act of love and a gift for me. So if that feels good to partake in, there it is. Okay, so Does it feel like we get how we stand apart even with thousands of other people doing the exact same thing without you having to be any different than you are? Know anything different, have a better voice, a more powerful voice? Like, no, there's no competition. It's not about them. It's not about the 10,000 other people doing it better than you, because there are 10,000 other people doing it better than you. How about that reality? That's real. That's very real. And if you want to navigate that, it looks like this. It looks like authenticity, and it looks like having the courage to allow it to be what it is and to build off of that as you expand and grow, and have that sense of, I'm going to take one more step, one more step, one more step. And as you go and as you grow, people can come along at that level with you, and you're creating just that next level container, because like a snowflake, there's only one you. And I know that's cliche, but if you hear me for a second, there's only one you. And there are literally thousands of people out there that would only be able to hear that thing you're saying from you. Do you know why I show up every day? Because I'm so aware of that right there. I'm so aware that there are people out there that would only be able to hear the particular thing that I'm saying from me, because I went through a bunch of trauma. I am super, super vulnerable and honest. I share all the things and the messiness, and I also own all my badassery. And, you know, maybe it's somewhat part of how I embody like a, no, you're fully welcome here as is. I don't care what your belief is. I don't care what your, your race or nationality is. I don't care what your, income is. I don't care what your, my energy is or the thing I'm teaching. Like, you are welcome here, and I mean it, and they feel that. So all of a sudden their guard can go down a little bit and they can learn from me. Whereas someone else, when they come to me, they're like, oh, like, nobody cares about all that stuff, Mandy. Like, give me the how-to. Oh, whatever they're doing, they just don't resonate with my, or like, she's singing, she's annoying, her eyes get too big when she gets excited, she's got way too much energy for me, I can't handle all that, whatever, right? So like, then they're not meant for me, they go to their people. But there are people out there that can only learn that thing that I'm talking about, that 10,000 other people are talking about, but they can hear it right now from me. At this season in their life, they were meant to hear it, and just the way my energy is, or how I say it, or how I do it, or the level of trust they have with me, they can hear it from me in this moment. Or because I come from 27 different angles, which some people get super annoyed. They just want to hear one angle, right? Like, my friend makes fun of me all the time and says, I'm the only human he knows that can take an hour to say one sentence. That's because I come from all the different angles, because to me, I feel like that serves you. You're going to get it. You're going to hear it, and then it's going to land with you in a way where it's going to transform your life. You're not just going to hear it one time, go in and go out the other side. Whereas there's some people out there who are like, I don't want to hear it 10 times. I want to hear it once. You talk too much. And they're not my people, right? Do you see what I'm saying? So if we can lock into that, and we can lock into, okay, all right, I get to be the student, and I don't have to mix this up. Do you know, okay, I feel like I'm going too long, but it's fine. Did you know that, do you ever hear the reason why comedians have such a high level of drug abuse and depression? It's because all of a sudden, when they became a comedian, oftentimes, so many of them fall into the trap of, when something funny or ironic happens that usually causes us joy and we laugh, and it's a very lighthearted, free moment, that became work for them. And all of a sudden, those moments that are like fun and enjoyable, they're not moments that are fun and enjoyable for them anymore. And life feels very different for them. And that's what I feel like us learners and seekers and growers and healers are doing, us thought leaders. What we're doing is we're taking those moments that feel so good to us, and instead of just allowing ourselves to be the student there, and then also be the expert where the expert, we mixed it together. And we're actually feeling all sorts of anxiety and pressure and confusion because we didn't know how to separate the two. And we didn't know how to get really clear who we are and create all of our offers and our content and our messaging and our stuff based off of who we are here, and live in the complete freedom of that authenticity. And it just got mixed together accidentally. And we didn't mean to do it. We're just go-getters, and we just accidentally mixed it together. And I feel that happening as a whole in the industry. And I felt really, really called to start doing some work here and unwiring this a little bit, and help people not get stuck in that cog and in that trap, and to support people in really actually showing up based where they are in that authenticity, so that all of those hundreds of thousands of people, who knows how many, you have no idea how many people that are not being served because you haven't given yourself permission to create the time and space to invest, to do what it takes for you to really know who you are and what you bring to the table, and then build everything off of that. Does that make sense? So that's what this is for. So What do you mean give advice on how to? Sorry, just got back on again. Yeah, I explained that, Denise, so you can go through and rewatch it. But basically what I meant was if I tell you to go do something and then you haven't transformed who you are as a human yet, right? So like in every single one of my programs, I'm never just gonna give you a how-to. So the how-to, the ultimate how-to, right? And that program at the end, the second half of the program, it's a 30-day program. So the last 15 days of the program, I am teaching you everything. How do these high-end programs run? I'm gonna teach you how to become a billionaire like I learned. I'm gonna teach you the different ways that people in our industry made it really easy and sort of the different back-end flows of companies. I'm gonna teach you my entire company and the back-end flow of mine. I'm gonna teach you how to know which one is specifically for you, how to design it based off of becoming who you want to become so that you're free to be who you are now, right? And then I'm going to give you all the organization skills and tools so that you can organize everything, your team, your SO, like everything, the legal stuff, everything's already all done for you. But I would never just jump into that, because even in a paid program, if I started out with that, if I started out with just teaching you how to do that stuff without prepping you first to have shift and transformed who you are and be standing in a new place, then all of that stuff would just get thrown into the cog that's already there. And that does not serve you. So then you would take my program and you would learn all this how-to and you would go try to implement it, and then you would fall on your face. And then most people, right? It's at least possible. Even that's enough for me, right? Some people might just have massive success just knowing the how-to because they're already ready for that. They're at that place in their life. But a lot of people wouldn't. And they wouldn't have shifted into the place where they're ready for that level of how-to and then be able to implement it well. So it's my duty to give value based off of helping you transform and not telling you to go do something and what you can go do. So then you're the same human being going to try to do that thing, and then you don't and you fail, and then all of a sudden you associate that failure with me. Like, all I know is Mandy shows up really big and then she tells me to do these things and I go do them and I can't do them, and now I feel bad about myself and now I want to avoid Mandy. And you don't really know why, you just kind of want to avoid me because that doesn't work for you. And that's big. And so people feel like in their head, giving how-to value is what people are going to like and want. And so, you know, on YouTube, stuff like that, how-to away. But when we're showing up and we're coming from like, how can I create the most amount of value? How-to can be part of it, but we also need to be aware of the fact that human beings can't just be where they are and go implement. They have to actually be able to implement it into their being, into their actual being, so that they show up differently. It's like a coach who tells you what to do when you go to the gym and you go to the gym for 2 weeks and then you quit. Right? Like, you need a coach who's going to help you work through the mindset of the blocks of why I can't continue going to the gym, which was a huge frustration of mine for so long, right? So that's the awareness that I'm just bringing to the table for that specific thing. Makes sense? Good stuff. Alita's awesome. Oh my God, that's me holding back and thinking what I'm going to say. Yeah. I would love to see you in the how-to program. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. I love you guys very much. That's the message for today. If this served you, or if you feel like this would serve your people, please share or tag friends below that you think this will serve. I just feel like we get to have that level of freedom. We get to feel good, and we get to make money being who we are on the way to who we're becoming, because that's a habit you want to develop right now. Right now, you want to know how to make money based off of who I am, and I want to serve my people, and I want to develop those relationships and that integrity so that there's a trust built along the way without any kind of pressure of like, I have to quickly learn how to be something else, or I need to wait or pause until I'm better, or I need to, I'm not doing Facebook Lives until I learn how to speak like, like that person who does the Facebook Lives that does it so amazing. No, that's ego. We get to suck until we don't suck. How about hop on and do 100 Facebook Lives, and then you can expect to speak like that person that you think speaks so amazing. How about run 30 online programs, and then you can expect to, feel good about the sales page and the results and build that. Even me, like, in my groups, there's usually like 30 people, and sometimes there's only like 10 people in my programs, depending on the pricing and stuff. Like a lot of my mentors have 100 people in their group, right? So I could always choose to feel like, oh, you're not doing good enough. You don't have 100 people in your groups, et cetera, right? But that's where I'm at. I'm a 4-year-old toddler running my company. Like, That's just where I'm at. So I get to just embrace that and treat my 11 people or 30 people or however many people show up in the program, I get to treat them like they're the 100 people. And as I serve them, if I just show up and I give them everything I have to give, I don't care if there was 2 people in the program. I know this because I've actually had very few, like I've had like 6 people in a program before, and I just showed up and I loved those people and gave everything I had to give, and times that I fell on my face and didn't. Right? And I learned my lesson and how that feels. So I've learned to, like, come hell or high water, I was going to burn it all down if I didn't have the space to give everything I have to give and to be able to hold space for my people. Like, I got you, right? Like, I got you. I'm not going anywhere. I got you. We're here. I'm calling myself to more. I got me. I got you. We're not going anywhere. We're doing this together, and really let my clients feel that. Like, Mandy's not going anywhere. Even when she falls on her face, and like she does something off or wrong, she owns up to it. She makes it right. And trust me, I have failed, right? Like the Brave Live challenge, my team and I still laugh about that, like epic fail. Like I just did really bad in that program. And I literally reached out to all the people and said, this is what I'm offering to make it right. Please tell me what makes this actually right for you. And those clients are still clients, right? Like the clients that I had reached out to that way, and I gave them this really amazing gift, and I just made it right. You know what I mean? Like, we're gonna screw some shit up, but that's okay. We get to suck at it, because then we get to learn how to make it right, and we get to release more ego, and we get to become more loving and hold space more gently. And when my clients see me being so gentle with myself when I screw up, they feel like they're allowed to make mistakes. Now they're gonna be a little bit more brave. Now they're gonna come to the table with more, because they see, if I'm judging myself and beating myself up because I made a mistake, then they're gonna feel like they're not allowed to make a mistake. Does that make sense? So yeah, I don't know what that had to do with anything. I don't remember how that came up, but I really hope this serves you guys. I love you very much, and I hope that you're hearing this, because what I want you to know, if you get nothing else from this, right? What I want you to know is it really is okay. I'm not kidding. You can have massive success. I mean, think about this for a second. I had 0 business experience whatsoever, and I had just gotten off of welfare, my first $40,000 launch, teaching people how to build their business online. And those people went from literally like 0 to 10K months, boom, and that 12-week program, right? And now I've only learned how to do it even better. Now I have people, literally I have 2 clients have gone from 0 or $600 and I don't remember what the first person made, but it was very low, something around the same thing. But I've had 2 people go from making almost nothing a month to making $30,000 in a month, right? Like, and this isn't mystical. This is recreatable. This is doable. I mean, it is what it is. And every person that I've taught what I teach, and like my private clients, like everything I take them through with my private clients, they have powerful results. They break through. It is what it is. I mean, success leaves clues, right? And a big part of this is the work I'm doing in the Ultimate How-To, really dropping into authenticity and knowing who you are and what your strengths are, what your values are, what you stand for, so that when shit hits the fan, you're still going, man. It's not stopping you, because your why is so much bigger than whatever thing is coming up and kicking your ass in the current moment. Your why is just so much bigger than that. It's just, you're doing what you do because it's who you are, not to get a particular result. You just know that as you show up in excellence, doing what you're called to do, being who you're called to be, you're well taken care of. Life supports life. And as we show up and support life, and we serve and we give and we learn and we eat humble pie and we fall on our face and we brush off and we do it all together, locked arm in arm, just a bunch of leaders supporting each other, massive transformation happens. It just happens. In like the blink of an eye, you're just like, I can't believe that just happened. It just does, right? Okay. So that's the message. If you didn't hear the beginning, I highly recommend going back and watching. You can tag a friend, you can share. The Elite program is my membership. It's really the energy of courage and bravery. It's $97 a month right now for founding members. I don't know how long it's going to go on for. That's mandyperry.com/elite. And then the Ultimate How-To is everything we just covered about literally how to make money right now, being who you are as you become who you're meant to be, and then designing and organize everything based off of that foundation, clarity on who you are. And you're not going to do it perfectly, because you're going to keep growing and expanding, but there are some foundational things about you that are never going to change. I'm never just going to be the person who doesn't show up super raw and vulnerable and just say all the things. Like, that's never going to happen. Ever. And if you don't know, for women, I have a free Facebook group called The Daily Raw. So you can just search that and you can come join us over there. I just share even more raw stuff in there. That's all. It's just a place. It's a safe place to talk about all the raw stuff going on in life. That's what it is. Okay, I love you guys so much. If you have any questions, if there's any way I can support you, just feel free to PM me. Don't hesitate. Don't be the person who's afraid to ask or reach out. I love you. I'm here. It's my honor to support any way that I can. So feel free to reach out to PM me or support@mandyperry.com. Okay. I love you guys. Have an amazing day.